Back behind me. Get behind me. It's okay. Get back over by the register. Oh, now, yeah. Oh, putting it. That's okay. I got this. Oh, my God. Okay, I got it on video. Okay?
I paid for that shit! That was like $50! You're gonna get yours back. You just wait and see. What comes around goes around. You're a low-life piece of shit! Now they got those things that I paid for! Now they're gonna keep that money!
Go ahead. You
You
okay?
damn it, bitch!
Go back over there.
They took a lot of money from us!
You back.
You hit me and moved! You hit me!
No.
They took $100 from us!
Don't let me leave.
It won't bring payday!
Go.
You wouldn't like it.
I
got the badge.
Thank you.
Coming from a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Welcome to
Brothers in Booze.
Welcome to Brothers in Booze. What a
I
start.
think it was actually Food Mart. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Walmart, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I was a real life zombie.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what are you drinking? Let's start there.
No, it was a supermarket. I forget, but is it still here? I'll tell you later, JSG. It doesn't really. I don't think the place matters. But
knock off Walmart.
Food cart or something, or food. Forget it. This is more important. It's called Hotel Motel by Vintage. I'm sorry, Venture Brewing. We have Vintage Brewing out here too. I always get mixed up.
Yeah,
but Hotel Motel.
What's
Holiday Inn, right?
Yeah, what style of beer is it?
Holiday. It's a nice double IPA, as you can see.
You have a Venture glass too. Look at you. Repping the boys.
Yeah, and I should be stopping into Venture early tomorrow morning. That'll be great. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yep.
What's going on?
So I'm going to start with one I actually posted in the Beers for All group because I like it so much. This is an English Mild from Myers Creek, which don't see a lot of English Milds. This one, it says English Mild brewed with Water Street English Muffin Bagels. So I don't know what they put bagels or shit in it, but that sounds weird. So, So let's. What do you see the color on this? The color is lovely on this.
I'm looking for this dumb lady. I forget where she's at.
Dirty Glass Gang, baby.
Yeah.
It's such a good style of beer that you just don't see enough of. It's like really just kind of light, but has like that, like almost like a brown ale or amber ale kind of flavor to it, even though it's not as heavy as that. So it's like very light. It's 4.7%. So it's it's a lighter one. I actually thought it was lighter than that, but it's just super refreshing. Like this is super crushable. I just wish they had more of these around, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah, this one
go ahead.
here. No, I got nothing. The
You got
crazy lady
nothing.
was the crazy lady. Reddit claims that the crazy lady JHG, just for journalistic integrity around here, is from Food City. I don't know where food cities are. Probably Florida, Tennessee, or Texas.
Well, her accent lends it to be
There was
seems to
an
like the South.
There was an accent. This the
A yelling,
screeching and the
a yelling accent, and the lady commenting had a little bit of it too. It wasn't like a deep Southern drawl, but it was enough. Not her yelling, but
I paid for some stuff. With cash.
Well,
It's okay.
that lady was on a mission. That lady was on a mission.
what was she on a mission to do, though?
I like how the TikTok is super crazy carrots.
Get back over by the register.
Look, y'all. Now Doug's got a new TikTok channel he needs to check. What is it? Crazy, super crazy Karen.
Oh, now, yeah. Oh, putting it. That's okay. I got this. Oh my God.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, Food City is a Tennessee thing, apparently.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God! Right. That was great, though. I love that shit.
That's okay. I got this. Oh my God.
Yeah, that is a
Okay,
very.
I got it on video. I got it on video. Okay.
Oh my God! That was great. That was great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a chain in the Tennessee area. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that narrows that down quickly.
Mm-hmm. Must have had some bourbon before she went there.
There was something going on with her. She was very angry. And I still don't even know what for it. I got a little clueless. He was getting slapped. People were getting spit on. It was a whole ass mess in that little video. I don't know.
Yeah, and part of it is like I don't. It's like one of those things like you don't know the context. Like that woman could be just having a normally shitty week. Should be having mental health issues. Regardless, you don't fucking do that stuff that she was doing. Like hitting people and spitting on them is like I don't. There's no excuse for that. So, but yeah, it was bourbon.
Food City. Who would have known, right?
Not a place I'm going, apparently, even if I'm in Tennessee.
No. But where we're about to go is a good place with our friend Art Eddy. Art is a sneakerhead, video game head, Star Wars head, fatherhood podcast head,
video games.
He talks to a lot of fucking fathers, man.
Yeah.
Over the years, I wonder if he knows how many fathers he's talked to.
I don't know. We'll have to ask him. We have him as a guest. We could do that.
Right. Why don't we just do that?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, without further ado, I don't see Zach here yet, but I think he's going to make it.
You know,
without just for this, he even said something on social media about it. So we need to all be forewarned that Art brings a crew with him. So here's Art and his crew. Is going to be here soon, I think. What's up, Art?
Gentlemen, it's been a long time. I really appreciate being back. Always watch your shows. I gotta say, like, you guys are very awesome in the sense, like, you always have a show. You're always doing something, not just Fridays, but other days too. So I appreciate the commitment from one person who's maybe you guys follow with me with the OCD, where like you got to put out a show every week or whatever. But I always love chatting with you guys. You guys always put up great content. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, this light is too bright. Doug, ask him a question. I'm coming back.
All right. Ask. Hey there, Art. How are you?
I am good, Doug. How are you?
This is quality content right here, right?
It's almost like like Wayne's World when they're trying to film a commercial or something. But I'll let you know. I'm drinking a trophy wife. I'll be drinking a trophy husband later on.
Oh,
This is
nice.
from a local brewery in Raleigh called Trophy Beer. So my wife and I dig our good friend Chad. He gave us Chad and Roxanne. They gave us a bunch of beers because they were hosting a golfing event, and they're like, we got some beers. I was like, awesome, you guys rock. So today I'm starting off with the trophy wife, and then next beer will be a trophy husband.
I have to step off camera a second. Be right back.
Cool.
No,
Everyone's
you're
leaving.
not allowed.
What am I doing wrong? What am I
I'm
doing
only
wrong?
allowed to do this. What the hell is he doing? What's up, Art? It's been a fun year so far as let's just jump into it, man. It's been a fun year video game wise. We've had some big releases, and I know you're playing some games. So what are your first impressions of these games that you've been playing, which I know are some bangers?
Hogwarts Legacy, when my daughters aren't playing it, I'm playing it.
Now that was one I didn't think you were going to say.
Yeah, it's a really good game. The graphics are cool. It takes place years before Harry Potter. There's some stuff that's like, very familiar to the movies or Fantastic Beasts, but there's a lot of other cool things. You get to explore, the Harry Potter world and all that. So that's really cool. Jedi Survivor. I just started playing that. I like barely scratched the surface just because of time and just everything else that's going on in my world. But like that's a fun game. My daughters and I will play like NHL 22 from time to time. My youngest is a big Bruins fan, so it's kind of tough for her to watch what happened when the Panthers were, when they shocked them. But it's not really shocking because before we start going live, Doug and I were talking about like how hockey playoffs, man, they're just like you can have the AC like what's the thing like 1 out of 13 in the past 13 years, only one team that won the President's Trophy, which is the team who has the best record, wins the Stanley Cup. That's like it's insane. It's there's so much
curse
there. So we'll be playing that. What else I've been playing?
New Zelda.
Oh, the Zelda. Yep. We got that.
Say.
Playing that again. I haven't touched that one yet because my daughters are all over that. They're playing that, and then I'll get to that soon. But while my youngest was playing after she got back from school, she was like, "Oh, all the stuff that I did from the Breath of the Wild's in here." I'm like, "Yep, yeah, there you go." So it's pretty cool how they like take your account and put it in there. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Whoa, Art's in North Carolina.
Yeah, so is Matt.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Jedi Survivor is some good. I saw my son playing it. That's tight. That game is really, really tight. And I'm not going to spoil the ending like a movie, but the one scene that they have in that game is just insane. And I somehow saw it, and I didn't spoil it for my kids. But yeah, Jedi Survivor, man, hats off to that. And the Star Wars, kind of leads me right into the Star Wars thing, Art. Like, what is your latest? Doug and I wouldn't say Doug can speak for himself, but I wouldn't say that Doug and I are Star Wars fans. I definitely would say we're not haters, but we're definitely not fans.
I have a question before we jump into that.
Sure.
Sorry, Greg. So is Jedi Survivor like Jeff Probst and they have a bunch of Jedis fight to be the best Jedi?
No. I got pause for that shit. Really? No.
I had to say it before I forgot it.
No, but it's pretty damn cool though, Doug. It really is.
Greg, I have to thank you, man, because I was kind of nervous because I heard one of the things where I think on Lags, Libations, and Lost Saves, we've talked about another great video stream that you host that I'm on to be lucky enough on there. But like I heard when that game came out, I was reading some things where it's like you have to to save and like all of the things and in Lags, Libations, and Lost Saves, I talk about I don't like the digital. I want the actual like disc, right? Just because I'm old school and I still use a fax machine and use a Zach Morris cell phone. But like the idea of like I want a disc, right? So I was still saying I heard that even if you have a disc, it takes up so much space. But I was talking to you, it's like, no, it's really good. You should definitely check it out. We're fine, go get it. So even though I'm a big Star Wars geek, I'm like, should I get this? Because I heard like a lot of people were kind of crabbing about this, but then they changed. They did like some updates. So I was like, all right, cool. And I'm glad I did. So thanks to you for in the sense of like, hey, like, no, we're check it out. We're digging it. We love it. So thanks for that, man. The reassurance was great. I did a trust fall in you there and you caught me.
Yeah, and then you know my stories. I didn't do a trust fall at all. I went out on a limb, spent money on a game, and then it came out like crap. And then my kids laughed at me, and then I laughed at myself, and then somehow it all worked out. That's the cliff notes of that story. I thought I told the story before on the stream, no, Doug. But yeah. So, but anyway, Art, back to the whole Star Wars line, real quick.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Since we haven't you've been on the stream a few times actually, but not by yourself. So I haven't really been able to talk to you about this, but where do you think the state of Star Wars is? How do you feel as far as the other content goes? We're at a point to where, and I was just saying it in my card today, that I feel that the movies are underwhelming, and I haven't seen any of the shows, but the shows are, what's the opposite of underwhelming, Doug?
Not overwhelming, because apparently they're awesome.
Well, no. Well, yeah, no, maybe they are overwhelming. Underwhelming are the movies, and you know, the TV shows are the opposite. So they're overachieving is maybe maybe something like that. You know, where the TV shows are really, really good and the movies don't feel as good. Are you there, Art? And what do you think of like the latest additions, whether it be the Mandalorian season 3, Andor? See, I know what's going on. I just don't watch it.
No, good. Yeah, I think the three of us we have the pulse on what's going on in the world of pop culture and entertainment and all that other stuff. But there's certain shows we might not have watched. Everyone's like, haven't you watched this yet? And you get like, you know, the third degree about not watching it. Can I just say something? Like Daniel is like, is he filling in for Zach right now with all these things? Like, I voted for Anakin to leave the island. I would have had post coup flu, his brother. I love it. All of these things are great. Thank you very much. But well, you ask a very good question, and I think whether you're a Marvel fan or a Star Wars fan, you got to admit we're eating pretty good right now, right? Like you got to feel like, all right, and sometimes the law of averages, if you keep on producing stuff and bringing stuff out, things aren't like the more and more you produce, where it's just like you had Rogue One. It was just like when that movie came out, and I think that is one of the best Star Wars movies of all time. And even though you kind of knew what was going to happen, you were still like, this is a great movie. And the way the writing and all the different, like the characters, you had an appeal to them, and you're like, who's going to make it? Who's not going to make it? Right. Now with the Mandalorian, with Obi-Wan, with the Ahsoka series coming up, a lot of people feel like, oh, why'd they even do the Obi-Wan series? Or this, they should have went this way. And the Mandalorian season 3 was really poor, but the first one and the second one were bangers. Like, what's going on? It's tough. Like, if you don't like it, I know, I mean, we saw in that video that you guys showed, like everybody just feels like they need to show all of their emotions, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, or whatever, or indifferent. They got to keep on doing that, right? And you know, I see Jonathan talk about Star Trek as well. Like Star Trek fans are eating pretty well too, whether animated, whether it's Picard, whether it's some other series. They're doing really good things too. But the problem is there's so, I think for Star Wars and Marvel, so much content is being done right now. And during the pandemic, you can kind of tell during the Obi-Wan series that there was the graphic team or whatever, like the deadlines maybe they were trying to meet and stuff like that. There were certain things where like, this is a Star Wars product. So I think you see a lot of when Star Wars entities or shows like, oh, they're getting pushed back or it's not happening just this year, it's going to happen next year. Everyone's like, oh, what's going on? Maybe they realize it's like, we don't need to like, you know, produce so many things because people will wait because we have the Mandalorian. We're going to have Ahsoka. So we don't need to like have like Thanksgiving dinner every year, right? It can just be like, here's a nice lunch of Star Wars. Then like, all right, here's a dinner of Star Wars, where I think a lot of people are just upset about like, this isn't my Star Wars. It's like, all right, so it's not your Star Wars. When you started watching Star Wars, I don't know, maybe you were 9 years old. And so everything that they were producing and making out was awesome. Now you're older and maybe you're jaded and you're like, well, this is dumb. It's like, all right, fine. Don't like it. So You guys know in any fandom, there's going to be toxic fans. There's going to be fans who were here from day one, or then there's fans who are like, well, if you don't like it, don't like it. Then don't eat from that side of the menu. Just order something else. So I think there's a lot of different Star Wars things you can be into, and it doesn't have to be like you don't have to watch all of them. If you don't like after like 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, just stop watching. That's the thing. But people really don't use common sense. They just want to keep on like banging their angry, drum, being like, why are they making this series? This series should never have been done. All right, you don't have to watch it. Don't watch it.
Right.
Agreed. So I have a quick question for you about one of the Star Wars shows that I actually considered watching because the people I had heard talking about it made it sound like it's in the Star Wars universe, but it didn't really feel like a Star Wars show.
Andor?
Andor. And because I'm not like a crazy fan of Star Wars, some of that stuff, like watching, I don't know all the backstories. So sometimes that feels a bit overwhelming to be like, all right, I don't know all that stuff. What am I going to? Now I've heard Andor is like kind of like this standalone thing, but it's supposedly excellent. Have you watched it? Would you agree with that particular assessment?
Watch it. I would say of all the different ones, you don't really have to know. Like this is almost like a political thriller, kind of like the different shows that True Detective or something, where Andor is was in Rogue One. If you saw Rogue One, great. If you didn't, you might lose a couple of things. But there's, I don't want to spoil things, but like it's in the Star Wars universe, but you don't need to be a Star Wars fan to like it. I would definitely, if you're going to watch anything that you don't need to feel like you need to know all the different things that led up to it, go watch Andor. It's more of like a suspenseful, I wouldn't say thriller, but like there's suspense and there's a lot of things dealing with political stuff and kind of mirroring what's going on today in the world. So I would definitely watch it. And if you see, and here's another thing too, I think a lot of people start like looking up threads or trying to find out, what did I miss? What's going on? Here's the thing. Just watch the show for what it is, and you don't have to worry about like the different Easter eggs. Someone might say like, hey, Doug, did you see such and such in episode 5? It's like, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know that a writer.
That's where I would get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about that. Like, don't. So I would watch it. It's really good. A lot of people who might have been hating on certain Star Wars series be like, this is amazing. So I think Andor is the new Mandalorian season 1. Season 1 and season 2 of The Mandalorian is right up there with Andor.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot, what's the actor's name? He played Dr. Selvig in Thor. I forgot his name, but he has this awesome speech in one of the last episodes, and it gives me the chills, man. It just talks about I don't know, like it talks about like his struggle and trying to make sure that like they overthrow the emperor and all this other stuff in the empire, and it is great. And Stellan Skarsgård, that dude just has an amazing like monologue, and to this day I'm just like, yeah, thank you, Daniel. Yeah.
The fountain of information, Daniel Fisher.
Yeah.
Here's a good question.
Is Andor the West Wing of Star Wars? Yes, could be.
Yeah, but this is a good question for you, Art.
Ahsoka. Daniel, I'm looking so forward to Ahsoka. One of my favorite characters is Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's going to be in this one. The guy who actually voices Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels is actually going to be him. And so I'm looking forward to that. Rosario Dawson, who played Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, she's coming back and she's going to be the lead character, but people from the Star Wars Rebel series is in that. And Dave Filoni, like kind of like George Lucas's right-hand man at the time, and now him and Jon Favreau running things with Kathleen Kennedy over at Lucasfilm. They're going to make a movie, Dave Filoni, and it's going to be called, I believe there's rumors, but like Heir to the Empire, which was before Disney bought Lucasfilm. There was they call them now like legendary or legend stories. Now it's no longer canon. The word canon is huge for Star Wars, meaning like, well, back before Disney bought, Star Wars, Luke and Han had 3 kids. One was like there was twins, and then there was a young son and all sorts of stuff. Now they just had one son. So it's like the word canon gets thrown a lot, and it's like shut up with the word canon. Just enjoy it is what it is, right? But this one I'm really looking forward to that one the best. And some people are saying, like, with certain other shows, especially with Mandalorian season 3, because some people were upset by it, they're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen to Ahsoka? And it's like, if they ruin Ahsoka, we riot. It's like, all right, calm down. Like, all the trailers and what like Dave Filoni is gonna want to do with this series, I think he's not gonna let us down. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
So you mentioned that there's a speech that gives you chills in Andor. That leads me to this question. What is your favorite like movie speech? Like for like Independence Day, Bill Pullman's speech is fucking
Knock her
great.
down in the night.
It's corny as fuck, but it's fucking great. There's I don't know. Do we include speeches? Are we like speeches to other people? Like there's monologues that I really enjoy too. So I don't know. Do we include that if we're going to ask that question or no?
I mean, it could. I mean, the one thing that comes right to my mind right now is Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie of all time. Not just Star Wars movie, but just my favorite movie of all time. And when Luke is with Yoda on Yoda's planet, or the planet he was hiding on Dagobah, Yoda was just telling him it's like mind over matter. And but I'm not even going word for word or anything, but he just talked the way he was talking to him about how you must unlearn what you have learned. And I think sometimes, it's a great lesson. I wrote about this at the Art of Fatherhood, where it's like, you must sometimes as a parent or as as you get into adult, you must kind of sometimes unlearn what you have learned and look at things from a different way and a different perspective and try and see things in a different light. And it was just amazing to see like this small little creature tell someone who has like all the energy in the world and wants to learn and all this other stuff. It's like, hey man, like just chill. So when he was talking to him, like Luke's ship sank into one of the like the lakes of Dagobah, and like he's like, I can't get this out, like I can't use the force, like this thing's huge. I was moving rocks, but rocks is totally. And then Yoda just goes into him and like just kind of schools him with that. So that's one. And even though you were saying it like it was corny, like it does kind of still give you chills, like Independence Day. Trying to think of some other ones that were like, I think it was kind of a weird, speech or whatever, but Denzel Washington and Training Day, where he's just like all around, he's just like, King Kong ain't got nothing on me. And I was like,
yeah,
that's a legit line too. So
what was the one with Al Pacino playing the coach? Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday,
Any given Sunday. There's a speech he does in that's quite good. I also
Yeah.
like Hoosiers when he's in the locker room before the big championship game. And that's just a short thing, but it's at the end he just says, I love you guys. And that's like the thing that just you go, because that was like in the 50s. Like you didn't say that shit to your kids when you were coaching them back then. So you're like, get the fuck out of there, motherfuckers. That. Oh, that's a great one, but I have another one for Alec Baldwin. Have you ever seen the movie Malice? Where it's him and Nicole Kidman, and basically he is a doctor and he is being sued for something he did wrong in a surgery. And he did this whole speech about God complex. It's awesome. He just like, at the end, he's like, you asked me if I have a God complex. Let me tell you, I am God. And he does this whole speech about him when you're praying, like when you have your person getting surgery, you think you're praying to God, you're praying to me. It is a fucking awesome speech.
What about you, Greg? Do you have anything?
Yeah, you look puzzled.
I'll explain when I come back.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But no,
so
I think
what other
nowadays,
ones?
well, I was gonna say, like, I feel like there are certain ones that nowadays I wouldn't say are like polarizing, but it's just like I think maybe we use you know, certain they're not memes, but people like almost overuse certain good speeches or good monologues in like social media, and then after a while, after you see it over and over again, it kind of loses its luster, you know, where you're kind of like,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
We recently watched The Last Crusade. I showed like the first weekend of May, my wife and I showed the girls the Indiana Jones Last Crusade. That's my favorite movie of the four different movies right now. I'm looking forward to seeing the Dial of Destiny, but the part where um Sean Connery's character Dr. Jones is talking to Indiana about the idea of what, because I mean you've seen the movie, right?
Yep.
We're like they're on the motorcycle. He's in like the little compartment. Sean Connery is, and even though he's the dad, Harrison Ford is looking down on him because of the height. But he's just talking about. He's like, why are we even going for the Grail Diary? It's like we need to go over here. We need to go. He's like, and all of these things. And Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones is like, he says something blah blah blah. He's like, oh Jesus Christ, and like Sean Connery slaps him, and he's like, and then he goes into this whole thing where it's like, it's amazing, where he just kind of talks about, you can see the passion that this character has and what it means to him and what this whole journey and this whole crusade is for. And this is why we're doing it, not just to destroy evil, but to make sure this power doesn't go into evil's hands, because it could destroy, the world and all that. So that was pretty good. Another one, and I know he's kind of in some alleged trouble, because nowadays, like we don't get the whole story, we just get a 30-second blurb and there you go. But Jonathan Majors, who plays Kang, I don't know if you saw Loki.
I did not actually. My wife and one of my kids watched that. So
Kind of spoiler alert, so you want to mute me or whatever right now if you're watching this and you haven't seen it yet, but he's not called Kang at the time. He's called He Who Remains. And Jonathan Majors just eats up the scenery with this phrase. It was just talking about like the end of any Marvel movie or TV series, or it could be a fight or whatever. The fight is just Jonathan Majors' character is like just mentally like trying to mess up Loki in one of his variants. And it's just great. There's no fighting kind of involved, but just like the mental games that he's playing is phenomenal. And Majors is, I mean, like I said, who knows what is truth and what is alleged and all this other stuff. All I'm saying is like he did such a great,
he's a good actor.
Great monologue. Yeah, he's an amazing actor. It was just, it was amazing. Yeah, it was. Yeah, Daniel agrees. And I appreciate you chiming in, Daniel. But like, everyone's like, oh, there wasn't a fight scene. Like, it didn't mean to have a fight scene. Not every, if you read comic books enough and you see certain things, there could just be a thing where the villain or hero kind of destroys their opponent verbally and not physically. And like, that to me takes more cunning and guts and all that. So I love that one. So that one to me sticks out. And I'm not, if I think of any more, I'll kind of bring it back up while we're live. But like right now, I don't want to force anything, but those are the ones that kind of stand out to me.
I have one that's a monologue that every time I hear it, I just marvel at how it was written. Is the Chaos is a Ladder speech by Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. It's this whole speech about people, how you climb the ladder and all this. It's fucking superb. And George R. R. wrote that, and they took that verbatim from the book and put it in the series. And it was just, I just like, that's just such good fucking writing. And then the guy that played Littlefinger was a really fucking good actor, and he just nailed the shit out of that. So, and that's not really a speech. That's just more like a small monologue, but like, that's something that just popped in my head.
No doubt. What Kyle said about Jonathan Moxley or Moxon from I Don't Want Your Life speech in Varsity Blues. I use that a lot in my podcast, especially if I'm talking to athletes and they're like, I don't want to push my kids into, and it's just like that idea of like, I don't want your life. And then just the idea of all of those things. And for, a high schooler to kind of stand to his coach and also his dad, separate, two separate characters, I thought that was amazing. So Kyle, well done on that.
Never saw Varsity Blues. Yeah.
It's not bad. Like it's you know, it's definitely from the 90s, but like who knows, like in the sense of like I haven't seen it in a long time, but probably won't stand up today. Wouldn't get made today.
Probably not. Well, that was also James Vanderbeek, if I recall correctly, the movie.
Mhm.
But yeah. Hey, I'm going to pop up number 2 here if you don't. Number 2 beer now.
Yeah, what you drinking?
So this is from a place that I've never heard of called Un Brewery out of Niles, Illinois. That's how their name is there.
Yeah, they're a sour house. They're awesome.
Yeah, this is a triple Abbey Ale from them. So
Gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I just saw it and I was like, oh, that looks
They're
interesting.
good.
So
yeah, they're really good shit.
Yeah, and
Unane for sure.
Yeah, I have never had any of their beers. So
ooh, lucky you or unlucky you or something.
Look at that. It's got that nice Abbey color though. Look at that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a banger.
That smells perfect.
Yeah. That's gonna be a banger.
That is spot on. That is spot on. Spot fucking on.
Yeah. Yeah, Daniel. That's pretty much yeah. That
is super good. It's 8.7. So like it drinks crushable. That's the problem with that. It's super good, but it's like you want to drink it fast.
Okay, Doug. So this is what I'm going through over here. Y'all ready?
Yeah. Y'all ready for this?
So, first of all, I'll let the beer show itself. It's a Donut Don from Venture Brewing.
Nice.
Now, if anybody knows anything about Venture Brewing and Donut Don, Kyle's in the audience, hopefully still. He knows about Donut Don. Donut Don is an Imperial Stout series that Venture does once a year, and they sell a lot of it. They come out with variants. It's all good. Okay, Doug, this is supposed to be an Imperial Stout with crullers. What are crullers?
Crullers?
No idea.
Yeah, they're crullers. Like they're kind of like a
sport where you kind of like use a broom.
Curling.
No.
Crullers, and if Matt Strain is here, he can explain it, or Daniel probably will know because he knows everything. I believe it's somewhat similar to a croissant, but it's a different texture.
Okay. It has barrel-aged coffee, vanilla, bitter cube cherry bark, vanilla mash. Okay, Doug? So you hear what I said it was, right? An Imperial Stout with cruller. Okay. This is what it looks like.
That doesn't look like an Imperial Stout at all. Is it an Imperial White Stout?
It's a vanilla mash, Doug.
You're white about that.
And I'm always learning something new from my friends over at Venture Brewing. This is 2001, so it's been aged, or the barrel aged coffees. Listen, I'm completely fucking confused. Okay, so that was a confused look when I poured it out. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
That would have been my first. I've been like, "What?" Trophy husband. Woot.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Zach chiming in.
This drinks like a boozy. It drinks like a Imperial Stout. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's boozy. I get some barrel aged, but I don't taste any coffee.
Varsity boozy.
Very vanilla, but it's boozy as hell.
All right. I'll pull that up and then I'll share the link when it
comes. Yeah, Daniel, so is this 2001? Is yours Donna Don BA Coffee Bitter Cube? That's what it's called. I got so many questions. I'm not even going to be able to fucking ask them or answer them in this one stream. It is drinkable.
But you look very studious.
Here, I'm going to show you.
Not
This
bad.
is Dan's.
Yeah. Now, see, that's the normal Donut Don. And that's what Donut Don normally looks like. Now, this variant I have here.
Well, what does it say? It says
something
no,
else.
this is the same one. He said, it's got the 200 crullers, Colombian coffee, vanilla. That's supposed to be the same one. Why is yours blonde and his not?
Because it's not the same one, is what I'm saying. It's just not. Look, mine has this pink accent.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't think his has the pink accent. It's not the same one. It's just not. Donut Don normally is a dark beer. This motherfucker is. What's going on with the trophy husband, though, Art? Because I'm not going to be able to explain this shit.
No, it's a weak
Where the
beer.
fuck is Simon at?
All right. So what's a trophy husband?
5.2.
It's a baby beer.
Like, yeah, this is the first time. It's funny. It says cleans, cooks, cleans, and never complains. So it's a good thing that I'm drinking this because this is just like me to a T. No, but this is what it looks like.
Oh, nice color.
Oh, I'm getting a text from Simon now.
We hang in the balance.
Yeah, but it's funny. He's DMing me about something totally different. I'm talking about you now on the stream. Are your ears ringing? What I just said to him. I'm not even going to show you what he sent me. We will spare that.
Was it a nude?
No, he's just being silly in the brewery. Yeah. And then I get pictures sent to me of him being silly in the brewery.
Yeah. Because
Simon thinks that I want to see him doing silly things in his brewery. And I'm not really sure if I want to see him do silly things in his brewery. But it really doesn't matter, because I get sent him doing silly things in his brewery. So it really doesn't matter whether I consent to that shit or not. It just happens. It's kind of like,
at least it's not a dick pic.
I was gonna say it's kind of like Doug and his TikTok videos. I do not consent to be sent TikTok videos by Doug, but I'm always sent TikTok videos by Doug, Art.
I always send funny ones though, that's thing, or ridiculous ones. I don't send anything or I do send some that are just like some ridiculous racist shit, but that's beside the point.
Yes. And if you're watching now, Simon, I was questioning what this crazy beer is all about. This Donut Don, it's not Donut Don. Is this a deep fake? Is this the deep state? What's going on? Anywho, Doug, do you have a question for our guests so we can? This has been one of the most awkward ass shows.
Well, I think the beer you got there really threw you for a fucking loop. I've never seen this. I've never seen you this discombobulated on the stream ever.
I think you guys are getting a complex too. I think you guys, because I get on and like one person goes off, and then all of a sudden Greg comes back on, Doug's come off like,
right,
yeah,
like my bat, like what's going on?
It's you, man. It's you.
Wait, hold on. Is this better? Like, here we go. This is better, right?
There we go. That's the Art we know and love.
All right.
Look, Art.
Sorry.
One of our friends.
I'm like Sylvester Stallone and over the top. There we go.
And one of our friends tried to warn us about you. See it. So, I mean, it's been off the rails since you started. Yeah. Right.
Part of the course for us, right?
Yeah. What's that sweet spot that you talk about, Daniel? What is that, like 5-ish, or where's your sweet spot, Daniel?
What was Trophy Wife? What ABV was that, Art? I don't recall what you said that was.
4.9. So it's
you're in the Daniel Fisher sweet spot apparently. So
right. So Daniel mentioned this earlier. I believe SW fans of Star Wars.
Yes.
Yep. Not to be combined with or confused with SWV fans.
No,
Very different fandom. Also,
probably.
speaking of fandoms with acronyms, real quick side note, I see things on Twitter where they do MTG, and MTG is for Magic the Gathering. And every time somebody says that, I think they're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I'm like, I'm really confused when I see those. Who is that? Like, what is going on over there? Then I have to realize it's Magic the Gathering. Sorry for the interlude there, but yes. So yeah, the toxic Star Wars fandom. The floor is yours.
No, I think you're gonna have, unfortunately, because that fandom is so big, you're gonna have different groups and sects of, you know, Star Wars fans, and you're gonna have stands of the original trilogy, stands of the prequel, stands of the sequel trilogies, or different shows, or just animated series or books or whatever. And yeah, nowadays we don't let things breathe anymore. We don't let like just the idea of like we need immediate reactions to something. It's like you go in like especially for me with going into the sequels like Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. We're going into all of these different things of like I remember I got out of Force Awakens episode 7 and I was like get out of the theater and I'm like I didn't really know how to react. I wasn't like mad, I wasn't like super happy. I'm like was that just like a redo like a New Hope 2.0 where there was kind of like the same thing. You found someone in the desert, you did all these things, and like so it's like what's going on? But then like I looked at it, and of course I'm like, all right, so J.J. Abrams was trying to bridge the people who love the original trilogy, and then obviously new fans and young fans and all this other stuff. So like I was cool with it. But I think everybody now just jumps the gun and being like, this sucks or I love this. And I think now more than ever, especially on social media, there cannot be like if you're a diehard Star Wars fan that just loves everything, and maybe you saw a series or a movie that you weren't really that big of a fan of, you still like, I gotta say I love it. And then the people who like on the opposite side who hate everything now Star Wars, it's like if they kind of dug something, like I can't say this. I gotta assure that I'm still like so ticked off that Disney bought Star Wars. So I just for anybody who is in Star Wars fandom, just if you like it, and if you don't, then don't worry about it. But you don't have to keep on posting whether you love it or hate it. It's okay. It's like it's okay because I could only imagine if social media was around during like the original trilogy, everybody would be spoiling the fact that like uh everybody would be spoiling that Darth Vader was Luke's father. It's like I knew it. It's like that Simpsons line where Homer comes out of the movie with Marge. He's like, I had no idea that Darth Vader was Luke's dad. And everyone's like waiting in line to go to the next one. It's like, oh, why'd you do that? Right. So
Yeah.
I love Star Wars, and there's certain fandoms and groups that I'm in. But like there's just certain things I'm like, I'm not even gonna waste my time caring about this or even going into it. So like I don't know. Yeah, and Jonathan's talking about J.J. Abrams also did stuff with the Star Trek movies. And he actually, this was before the Star Wars stuff, and he actually put R2D2 in one of the scenes when one of the ships blew up. Like you put like R2D2 if you did a freeze frame, or maybe I read the internet wrong. I don't know, but like there were certain things that J.J. Abrams did to kind of give nods to it. But like I don't know, like I'm a big fan of just like for me taking it in, and I don't care. Like right now with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, it premiered, and some people are loving it, some people are hating it, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Like that's your opinion. I don't care. I'm still gonna go see the movie, right? Like let me ask you guys this: and people who are watching, do you really care what someone else's, unless it's like someone you value your opinion for? But like if you see something on Rotten Tomatoes, you see someone tweet about it. The only time I might get upset, I'd be like, oh no. If I was like, let's say, I'm not into Halo, but I know Doug, you are, right? Let's say you and I were just big Halo stans, right? And we're like, and you started playing a game, and you're like, oh my God, this sucks. And then I'll be like, uh-oh, I value Doug's opinion, and he thinks this sucks. This ain't good. And before I got to play it, right? Like I mentioned with Greg, like you didn't play the new Star Wars game, but your kids did, and they dug it after the patchwork and all that other stuff. So like, I don't really care what other people are saying. I'm still gonna watch it, and I'm still gonna try. Whether or not I enjoy it, I'm not gonna be like writing a manifesto online, being like, "Well, this is the reason why I hate this, or this is the reason why I like it." No one cares. No one cares.
Yeah. Greg, you're muted.
I actually feel I went through it more with the Mario movie.
Yes, you did such a great job with that, by the way. Yes. Thank you.
I don't know. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I had a good time. I'm not sure why y'all care or why people dislike that. You must not like, I don't get it. So, yeah, for the most part, yeah, we have this debate with the family too, because what happens is I do the Saturday matinee where I show my boys who are 17 and 19 a show or a movie. As soon as it's a movie before they were born, so it's before 2004.
I love that.
It's always before. Sometimes I'll dip a little bit into like the, like when they were 1 or 2. Again, they don't remember that shit. So like Avatar is a good one. That's 2005, I think. And they both were alive, but they're both these little crickets who just ran around and didn't do shit but pee and poop. So, and scream. So I don't really count that as like living as a human. So like, you know what I'm saying? But then what my sons do is when they find out the movie, they'll go and like look at Rotten Tomatoes and shit. And they'll be like, well, Rotten Tomatoes says that it's not good. So this week's matinee, y'all, is one that I've never seen. So y'all gonna scream at me for, but I'm absolutely excited to show them, which is Stand By Me. Should I be excited to show them Stand By Me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I've never seen it. How do I not see Stand By Me? I don't know. It's
Well, I haven't seen it in a while, but like I remember I had fond memories of it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good movie.
Look at that. Jade, she agrees.
Yeah, based on a Stephen King writing.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of like.
It's kind of weird. It's like Shawshank Redemption. Like it doesn't seem like it'd be a Stephen King thing, but it very much is. Like he wrote it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
well, do you know that, like, again,
week.
Just speaking of, sorry, Greg, but like speaking of random movies and stuff, I love The Running Man. And do you know Stephen King wrote that?
Yeah, I knew that. It is like one of my.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that is one of those movies that you watch it and it's terrible and cheesy, but it's great because of it. Like it's great just because of how cheesy as fuck it is, and just it's early
dad jokes
Schwarzenegger
everywhere. It's everywhere.
It's
There's
early. Yeah, early Schwarzenegger, where he couldn't really pull off lines. Not that he was ever great at it, but this was like, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years after Conan the Barbarian and stuff like that. Like he was not far past that when they made that. And it's great. It's just great.
Well, Art, I don't know if you saw on the stream. Ever since I showed my boys Batman 1965 with Cesar Romero and Burt West, my boys have questioned every one of my Saturday matinees from that point, because my youngest, y'all know Slothy, you know Slothy better than most Art out there. They don't really have much out there on social media, but you know Slothy, you kind of know him a little bit. He absolutely hated that movie. He wants his time back, and he feels that he almost, because we have this joke in this house, it's a joke, but he said that he almost should have called CPS on me for exposing him to that movie for 2 hours. But they didn't understand the campiness. And then, you know what else they throw at me, Art? They're like, well, we got the campiness from Batman and Robin, the George Clooney one, with Lisa Sylvie, that horrible one. They're like, oh, that was cool, but Batman 65 wasn't. I was like, no, that shit I can't. Where y'all at with Batman 65 and
you go ahead.
all that?
You go ahead, Art.
Yeah, and then you go, Doug.
First of all, Greg, it's Batman 66. Thank you.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh,
I'm just messing around. Like, you know what you gotta do? You know what you gotta do, Greg? You gotta show them like individual episodes, and I will tell you the villain that you need. The villain you need to show them isn't the Joker. The Riddler's great, Joker's great, Penguin, Burgess Meredith, all that stuff. You need to show them the ones with the Mad Hatter.
Oh yes,
are the best ones.
Yes, now I'm looking for that shit.
That guy is hilarious. I have a T-shirt of him, of his face. I have this big ass T-shirt. I want to go get it, and I bought it on like on Etsy. And everyone, like my wife and my daughter's like, "Why did you buy this shirt? Never wear it out in public." I got like an action figure of him. He seriously like went to like every acting school and like just chews up the scenery. He'll be like saying like, "Oh, I'll come back to my like his lair is the Hat Factory." He's like, "Hat Factory," like freaking love it. It is amazing. If anybody's watched like the 66 series,
Oh my God, look at that. Oh my God.
dude, if you can play a video of like just him saying Hat Factory, it is great. The guys I used to work in radio with, we do a podcast together called Masters of None. And we took a year off from like just doing random stuff, like our random or not random, but like our normal stuff. And we just did a year of reviewing the Batman 66 series. And we actually had Catwoman, one of the Catwomen on. We had
Not Eartha Kitt.
not Eartha Kitt. What? Oh my God, what's her
That would
name?
have been awesome.
Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. But like, we had her on. I got her to be on the show, and then I got Burt Ward to be on the show, who played Robin. Julie Newmar, thank you. Daniel Fisher is seriously like my ace in the hole for this one. Thank you very much. I think who else said it too? Victor, thank you. Yeah. So we had a couple people on that were kind of forced and still living. Like that dude is just the Hat Factory dude is just amazing. He's so campy.
Man, I loved Batman when I was coming up. I love that campy shit. I looked forward to that campy shit. I've seen it over and over and over. Like, so it was a little disappointing with my kids, but I can't expect them to get everything that you know what I mean, that I thought was cool. So it's cool. But I like to say that for the kids today, that definitely did not age well. Doug, where are you at with the whole Batman campiness and all that shit?
I never was a fan of it, but I got it. Like I understood that was the time. Like campiness was like the thing, and it was, it's kind of like when you watch Austin Powers and how they do like an updated version of the campiness with the stupid cut scenes and all that stuff. That's what it reminds me of. And yeah, it's not my thing, but I understood the appeal, and I always enjoyed the way that Adam West would talk to the guy who played Robin. His name is
Herb Ward.
Yeah,
Burt Ward.
And he would talk to him like he was almost instructing him, and it was like,
yes, he was
really kind of goofy.
Yes, he was Robin. You need a second, Art?
Yeah. All right. So I want to circle back to something that this real quick. Oh, go ahead. What are you going to say, Greg?
Well, I was just going to say, especially for our audience, and Art, I know is going to agree. It's when it's free, when it was presented in this way, Doug, meaning my boys grew up with dark Batman. So to go back and see campy Batman is different than, we saw campy Batman and then we saw Batman literally like through the ages get darker. Like it's kind of hard to get that dark, and you know how much we love the Dark Knight series. And we're not even comic book people generally, and we love the Dark Knight series. So my boys grew up on the Dark Knight series. So for them to get that serious, dark, you know what I mean? Even with the new Batman, I know you saw the new Batman, right? The new Batman is tight. That's a great movie. And to get all that and then to go back and see like where Batman started, it's kind of, I understand their frame of view, if that makes sense. What were you going to say, buddy?
So I was going to circle out of Batman for a minute though, because I wanted to go back to a comment that, a comment that Victor made when we were talking about fandom, and Art was talking about Halo Wars.
Okay. Yep.
So Halo Wars is a different style of game than the regular Halo. Art. Halo is first-person shooter. What is the style of this? I'm going to look it up because the name of the style is escaping me. Halo Wars is.
But you're talking about.
It's a real-time strategy game. So it's like move your army here, do this, move your guys here, build this.
Oh, okay.
I don't care for those games. So for me, that was not something that I fucking enjoyed because I disliked it. Like I was just like, I don't like this style of game. And there are people that love it because they don't mind it. Rest time strategy. That's a good way to, Thank you. So I just didn't care for the style. So I rail on it, not because it's not in the Halo universe. It is. They use the Covenant and they use Master Chief and the ODSTs and all that stuff. And so they're true to the quote unquote canon, as Art threw out earlier, that word. But it's just not my style game. If I have a game where I have to, like one thing, like when my kids would play Minecraft, it would drive me nuts because I was like, you're harvesting things to build things. That sounds fucking boring. I could do that shit in my backyard. Why do I want to do it in a video game? I can make it whatever I want. Great. You still have to smelt metal. Like, I don't want to fucking do that. And in Halo Wars, you had to build forts and do all that shit. And I don't
It's
want
just
to do
not
any of that.
right.
Yeah.
So that was the context of that comment, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, it is real-time strategy. So just for me, there it is.
Oh no! Look at that! And the hat
All
comes out.
Hey, I have you could pull that off as an anime guy. Does he have the hat? Yes. Does the hat pop up? Awesome. That is great.
Wow. What's up, Doug? You got something?
Sorry, my little that little smelt it dealt. That was my fault for bringing up smelting metal in Minecraft. So my fault. I don't get the appeal of that shit. I just don't. Like, some people want to build stuff, and you want to build your own things and all that shit. Cool. I don't. I have to build shit in my house. I don't want to build stuff in a game either.
And I barely get the appeal of Art's shirt, but I.
Dude, just the glee he has from that shirt, that makes me happy. Like, seriously.
And while we're here, critiquing whether, whatever Art's wearing or whether he's, what he has, we're going to critique his background, which is a complete 10. It's easy. I don't even have to describe why it's a 10. It's a 10. Right, Doug? What? Like, is this the first unanimous 10 ever between us?
Yes, it is our first unanimous 10. We've had some good rooms.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Unanimous 10.
Yeah, that is just, it's impeccable. It's not even assailable. And what other kind of words can I use, Doug? You're the word guy.
Ineffable.
I like that. Ineffable. Ooh.
That is
there's a little bit of sting to it.
It's a Good Omens reference to which if you haven't read the book or watched that series, fucking do it now. That show is great. David Tennant, Michael Sheen. Fucking great. That show is awesome.
Star Wars, not Star Trek. Uh-oh. Are we going to start that? No, we're not, Jay.
No, we're not getting into that. So, yes. Art, I beg you to wear that shirt in public and take a photo of you somewhere in public wearing it. I really
haven't.
I love it. I like wearing shirts that confuse people like that. Like, I can't wear this shirt out in public for obvious reasons. But I got this because Chuck Wendig was selling them, and I wore it because your name is Art, and I decided to be funny. So
much appreciated, sir.
I would love to wear that out to like a grocery store and watch all the old people get mad at me.
I make a bunch of random shirts that are like, a Simpsons quote, like "Let the fools have their tartar sauce." And just like see what people say. Like, I love, and like my wife's like, no one's gonna get it. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
I get
like,
it. I get it. Yeah, I have a shirt that it says the Frog Brothers, and it's from the Lost Boys. I've had one person. I've worn that shirt countless times out in public. I had one person who looked at me and went, "That's a great fucking shirt. I love that movie." And it's a dumb niche reference, but I feel like if somebody does get it, I'm like, you're my people.
Yep. Yeah. You can find your tribe very quickly by doing that, man.
Yeah. And I've worn the shirt on when you were on before, where it's that boy good. And it's all the guys from Coming to America. Nobody has ever commented on that shirt ever. And I'm so disappointed in people. Like, that's a very easy one. Like, the pictures of the guys are on it.
One shirt that like people love that like will comment when I wear. I didn't design it. It was Reservoir Dogs, but instead of like the people from the movie, all the heads are replaced with like Megatron, Skeletor, Cobra Commander, all that stuff. I'm like, where'd you get that shirt? And I'm like, I got it at T Public, and they're like, oh, and they look for it up. So like, yeah, I love, kind of you were mentioning about in the beginning when you're introducing me, like I love buying shirts or designing shirts to match my sneakers. Like that's what I love to do. So like, I don't care if it's like if I'm wearing a pair of like orange colored sneakers and I'll make an orange themed shirt or whatever. This is just random. Like when I have like whiskey and like ginger ale, I always put a lime, and I always say to my family, like, oh, I love limes. I got a pair of Nike sneakers. They were like Air Max 1s. There was like a fruit version or a fruit series, and I got the pink lemonade, I got the lemonade, and I got the limeade, and I love them all. And it's just like I want to make a shirt that says I love limes, and people are like, what the hell does that mean? It's like, don't even worry about it.
What it says, I love limes. That's what it means.
My super instant mesmerizer, it never fails. Okay, boys, carry him out.
But at the same time, in this old building, which doubles as a warehouse and the secret hideout
we're
for
gonna
the
get a
Mad
copyright
Hatter
there
and his
for sure.
slippery
Oh, well.
stooges.
Sorry.
The Three Stooges.
Look at it.
Please say Hat Factory soon, please.
There. 2 more to go, and the dummies of the conniving jury that convicted me will at last be properly topped.
How whimsical, Jervis.
Thank you, Lisa. It's a pleasure to share my moments of triumph with you.
I'm supposed to be on my coffee break. At least that's what I told Madame Magda.
Madame Magda. Little does she know she's to be my next victim.
Oh, how merry, Jervis.
Before we get to the next victim, when do we get to the next meal? Getting bonnets for these dummies ain't filling our stomachs, boss.
Or our wallets. Our wallets will be filled, boys. As soon as I have completed the most fantastic hat snatch of my glorious career.
Batman's cowl?
Precisely.
Jervis, that's positively waggy.
Can you get a
Waggish.
clip of him? Yeah, if you can get a clip of him saying Hat Factory, there you go. That's the money shot. Oh God, it's amazing.
We're gonna get in trouble for that, Doug.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
don't worry.
We're gonna get a slap on the wrist, and
And this is my last time on your
Move
show.
this is, or you're gonna have to, right? Or you're gonna have to pay.
Put a disclaimer. Put a disclaimer
Right.
when it comes on.
Right. Well, Doug, I was gonna set you up, but let's talk about the Art of Fatherhood. Let's talk about all these motherfuckers that Art. I use that affectionately, but a lot of them are dads. They're people that we know. I was actually, as a football fan, I was actually intrigued by the Joey Harrington conversation that you had. You've also had my buddy Kirk Cousins, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Do you
But I
like
remember
that?
Kirk. Yeah, I liked that. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I did actually.
My youngest and I, like every time like Kirk Cousins' name is mentioned, like on the red zone during football season, she's just like, "You like that?"
Yes, I love it. Love it. Love it. That was actually, it's funny because that's the one thing with Kurt that everybody kind of remembers about him. But he actually went on to have a better career after that. His Minnesota career clearly has been better than his Washington career, but you can't fault him for the Washington thing because, I mean, what goes good there? So, I mean,
Hopefully, they'll sell it soon and things can turn around.
I think they already sold. I
we'll
think they
see.
sold that already.
It has
Yeah,
not
they did?
completely gone through.
Oh, it hasn't. But the guy that's taken it over is the guy who started the whole process and for the Philadelphia 76ers, so that's going to be interesting.
Right. And there's some things going on there that may stop that deal from going. So I think we all need to kind of hold back on that. But yeah, it looks like they're going to push Daniel Snyder out of there, and it's about damn time. Jeez. But I don't really feel bad for the Redskins fans because when they're good, you can't get them to shut up. So I really don't care. Actually, I really don't. Sorry.
So what a dumb name, Commanders.
Oh, and then you see their new mascot is that pig it's like a commander pig. Have y'all seen him?
I didn't. That shows like a
the whole thing
hog.
is a fucking yeah, and I got the tradition with I got that, but when your owner, in my opinion, is a fucking pig, it's kind of weird to have that as your mascot. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, show that again, Art.
Since that's not. Oh, I was gonna say, is that Art's mascot? UFO White.
No, it's a company out of Boston, of course, and Vermont as well.
That was a bad joke, or was
That's
it?
all right. I have a third when Art's done. So yeah. Give us the tasting notes there, Art. Let's see it and hear about it.
JHG. I hate to correct JHG, but Snyder is still an asshole. It's not like he's changed his ways or anything. You know what I mean? Like Snyder was an asshole. No, he is still.
This is in Matt's wheelhouse. 5.1%.
In that sweet spot.
Yep, American style white ale brewed with California orange peel and ground coriander. I've liked this beer, and my next beer is going to be another beer from this company. And my wife and I love the one that I'm going to have next. But when I was living in New Hampshire, this is one of the beers, like not just Sam Adams and all that, but this was a company that I definitely dug a lot, and Gregged a lot, I guess. Dug and Gregged a lot, but like now there's do you guys I mean, well, you should have it, Doug. But Greg, do you have a Wegmans around you?
We do.
No Wegmans.
Okay. So Wegmans, there was one that opened up a couple towns over, and they carry like they're like a Pennsylvania,
they're northeastern.
Northeast,
New York,
like New York, Buffalo, and all that other stuff. And coming from like my family's originally from Buffalo, like they have like sponge candy, they have a bunch of different things that like it's an uppity grocery store, but they like the place that opened up near me has an awesome beer selection, and they have UFO, they have a bunch of things that I can't get anywhere else. So I love the fact that they have there. And like I think at one time I took all their the next variant from UFO Brewing. I took like the whole lot just because I'm like, I love it. They brought it in here, and I was talking to one of the people that worked there, and she said, yeah, the guy who took over last year was like, no, we need to revamp this, and he's bringing things left and right. And it's something like, it's a really cool thing to have a person that like kind of sees a vision of like, all right, North Carolina is now kind of like half the people that live here or grew up here, half the people are from either the Northeast or the set like Florida or other places around the country, and they're moving here. So it's like we need to stock beer that they loved, and so there's a lot of like heavy New England craft breweries there. So like so like it's not like a far drive, it's like maybe like 30 minutes, but like if I'm out there, like I'll pick up a lot just because I'm like I don't want to keep on going to this place like over and over again. But like they have stuff from like my youth, like growing up in Buffalo, and then they have stuff from New Hampshire when I used to live out there. So it's really cool.
Nice. Wegmans is where I get a lot of my beer. And it's like, I'm lucky that Wegmans is like a mile and a half from my house. So
nice.
Yeah. And no worries. We have Woodman's, which is, it's like a box store owned by employees, but they have the kick-ass liquor store. So, and y'all know I'm in Wisconsin. We're good with the booze.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're set.
We're set over here. We're fine. We need to chill the fuck out with booze, actually. Doug, you don't need to chill the fuck out.
Oh, nice.
This is also from Myers Creek, which I had there English milder. This is a bit bigger. This is their octopus slippers Doppelbock with molasses.
Octopus slippers.
Mm-hmm. So having a Doppelbock, another style that's woefully underrepresented.
I got so many questions. What are octopus slippers, and how do they?
I think it's just a take on the fact that octopus have 8 tentacles. Maybe they have
right.
slippers.
So let me answer my question. Are they are they comfort slippers? Do they have hard soles on them? Do they have backs on them? What kind of slippers does a fucking octopus need to be wearing? They got it like they're gonna have to have straps, right? Because they move around in their arms and shit.
Yeah. Well, we should ask Zach if he was here. You know, what kind of slippers would be appropriate for an octopus? Because Zach has 80 pairs of slippers.
He's at his fucking kid's event. That's what he said.
He should cut that shit short and join us. Fuck that.
He's just too scared to be on here when I'm here. He knows.
True. Yeah, he's actually being a good father, y'all. Leave him alone. Yeah, let him go father. Stop father shaming him. Okay. Or Doug was attempting to slipper shame him. But
who owns shoes like that? Like, how many pairs of slippers does he need to have? Like, who does that?
That's a guy who has fruit fucking line shoes. Like, what are you talking about? You can't shame Zach for slippers.
Yeah, but at least you can wear your sneakers out.
It was a joke.
And sneakers have resale value. No. I'm not taking this analogy. I'm going to fight for Art on this one. Slippers is silly, especially when you switch them up to open the door. What is this? What is this? Some slipper fashion bullshit going on? Like, what the hell is going on, Zach? Where are you to answer for this shit?
You know what's funny too? Like, I just with different cultures and all this other stuff. Like, a lot of people, like, you see a lot of people talk about, like, oh, white people like have their shoes on in their house. We don't do that here. Like, especially for me, like, we take our shoes off, and like, for the idea of like, I know I think that maybe is a cultural difference, but like for me, it's like I always ask people, like, they come in, they start walking, I'm like, no, take your shoes off. Like, what are you doing here? I clean this house. Like, this ain't. I don't want any of the outside world coming in here. So someone who collects sneakers, I'm like, I don't care. Like, they're like, you don't wear sneakers in the house? I'm like, no. Why would I do that?
Right. Who wears sneakers in the house? Doug?
Or shoes in the house. No. I don't understand who people wear shoes in the house. Like,
no.
Why would you bring in everything that was in the world into your home? I don't get that.
Having grown up in rural Pennsylvania, where people wore their shoes in the house and wore like shit kickers that they wore in a farm in their house, I don't do that. But if I am working outside and I come in and I want to get a glass of water, I don't take my shoes off when I come inside. I leave them on and get my glass of water and go back outside.
You animal. Or it's not happening.
And I also sweep 3 times a week through my house, so it's not like I leave that shit laying around. So
if you took your shoes off, you wouldn't need to do it. Just saying.
That's actually Art time, man. I'm fucking busy. I need to get back to doing all the shit I need to do around the house.
Art is here to shoe shame you.
Hey,
we are.
He's entitled to his wrong opinion. That's fine.
Well, this is the same guy who has this guy as his idol. So I mean, I don't know what to do with this guy. Look at that. He's got him on his shirt. Okay. So I don't.
That is fucking great, though.
Right. Okay, Doug, we got a serious question for you here.
That is exactly right. I only do that if I'm usually if I'm working outside, it's usually my backyard, and I have a door that comes into my backyard into my kitchen, which my kitchen's right next to me here. I come in, I do that. I might go to the bathroom, which is right adjacent into the kitchen. I don't wear my shoes throughout the whole house. It's just in that area.
All right. Okay.
Now I will tell you that so my wife will wear her shoes in the house because here's the thing. If you are ADHD or neurodivergent, you have this thing that when you put on your shoes, you do not take them off until you are done doing stuff for the day because it disrupts the flow of how you do things. That is actually a thing for folks who are neurodivergent or ADHD, yeah. So it's something where they'll be like, as soon as I take my shoes off, I'm done. Like it's a thought process. That's like how they work. So
Look at that. Look at that. All right. All right.
We need the gift of,
I
like,
am
the more
full
you
of
know.
knowledge.
The more you know gift right here. Here we go.
The more you know. So, Art, what is the? I asked you this before, I think, and I'm gonna ask you again. I'm pretty sure that you've learned a lot through your years of hosting a podcast about fatherhood. From what I know, you're a damn good father. Personally, I know you outside of the podcast. I believe
I
you're a
think
damn good
all,
father.
like you
But
two included, are great dads as well.
thank you. But I think that you
that.
were. I again, my impressions of you, not really having that much time with you, but seeing you from the outside and knowing you a little bit, is that you've grown through this process of being a fatherhood blogger, and you've learned a lot of things. So that's my question for you, really, ultimately. And I asked you this before, but I think it's just a really important question because you soak in so much advice and stories from other fathers that any of this have you applied to your own life that you can think of just offhand? Because I know, I mean, I also asked you real quick too, if you can answer, do you know how many dads you've actually interviewed?
Probably like over like 700.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you're already on the show. 700? Is that what I heard?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Oof.
Yep.
Woof. So I'm still waiting for that Obama interview, but we can. Oh.
It's not like I haven't been trying, man.
I know. That's why I said it.
I guess I gotta feel like Nate Burleson and wear a tan suit instead of this shirt. I don't
There
know.
you go. There you go.
Hey,
there you
I
go.
have a great dad you should interview, and he's been on the show. Nick North.
Nice. All right.
I'm going to tell you, if you want a dynamic,
And I'm going to use my Twitter prowess to call out Barack Obama this weekend.
Oh, do that, please.
Yes, because I know he listens to me. So don't make fun of me, Doug. He listens. He does.
He's much more likely to listen to you than he would to me. I'm a freaking mini on there.
You got more followers than me, motherfucker.
Yeah, but you like talk about space shit. I'm not that cerebral on there. I'm an idiot.
I love your space stuff, man. I retweet and I like that all the stuff that you have out there, man.
Wait. So you think Barack Obama is more on my radar because I tweet space shit? Is that what I just heard?
More than me. I tweet.
What does space have to do with Barack Obama, though?
Hey, it's a cerebral thing. I'm tweeting first.
Okay. I don't know if he likes the Clan Karen stuff that I tweet, but I don't know.
Whatever. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Art, I asked you a question, and Doug and I need to shut up so you can answer.
No, man, like this job has made me a better father big time, because the whole idea of the different, like, once you hear certain things over and over again, it kind of sticks with you, right? And the idea of one of the themes is we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? Listen more, talk less. Sure, it was in Hamilton, but it's an old adage, right? And the idea of fatherhood and the concept of fatherhood and the idea of what a father should be has changed over the years, right? Like, it's huge, man. Like, and I have one of the things my wife says about me is I'm a good listener, right? And I want to make sure I listen to people. And even for recently my birthday, she was like, you kind of did certain things that other people would like. And I've learned the fact that, like, you want to include people and you want to make sure that you're a champion for your kids and for your spouse and all that. Doug, you posted something too recently about TikTok and just, spouse and partners and all this other stuff. And I think the biggest thing is, like, I think more and more people are sharing what they're going through. It could be sarcastic. It could be played out. It could be, overdone, but there is some truth to, like, certain things and people's responses to my questions or people's videos or whatever. I think just the biggest thing is, like, people want to be heard. People want to feel like they have somebody in their corner.
Mhm.
And so all the messages that I've heard from different dads, I've kind of put into my dad Rolodex. And I know that's an old term. Yeah, I know Doug French, one of the guys we're all friends with here, he even said, like, what are you from the 70s using a Rolodex? I'm like, but that's just something I kind of have in there where it's like
Yeah, Doug French
I
is older
listen.
than both of us, I think. So, he can stow that talk. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I think listening is huge. Like if you listen, and I think the biggest thing that we've already seen, like, stereotypes are bad, and thinking about something or just giving into a stereotype is not good. And
Hmm.
I have two daughters. Everyone's like, oh, just wait till their teenage years. I'm like, what does that mean? Like if you play into that, then people are going to be like, your daughters will be like, oh, I guess I can be acting this way because that's the way I'm supposed to act, or this is the way I'm supposed to be, or boys will be boys. That can be a phrase, and so I can do whatever I want. If you're teaching boys, right? Whatever it is, it's like, don't do that. Just the most important relationship you can have is with your partner and your kids. And I don't know, man. Like I take that very seriously, and I make sure that they know that I care for them and I love them and I'm there for them and I want to listen in any which way. And so that's the thing where I'm like, all right, we need to listen. We need to be there for our kids and whatever they're going through. And we might have been there with them. Like we might have experienced certain things that they have experienced. Like, oh, we can kind of say the cliche, it'll pass, it'll be whatever. But for them right now, that's their big moment. Like if they're having a fight with a friend, if they're having something along those, like just something that like, oh, don't worry about it in the future, you won't even care. You say that, then they'll probably distance themselves from you, right? Here is where
Mhm.
you take whatever they're going through and really care about it. So I think like a lot of lessons I've learned from other dads has kind of helped me make sure that I'm aware or I pick up key things that my kids or my spouse is putting down to be there. So this has not only maybe helped others, but it's definitely helped me become a better person and a better dad. So I'm very fortunate to be doing the job that I am. I mean, it's running your own business is hard. And certain things I'm doing right now for my family or extended family is tough right now. And um, but like I want to make sure I'm there for them. And then obviously running my business is important, but like family first. I'm like kind of like Vin Diesel. We're both bald, but like, family comes first. Family is everything. But like I'm not just saying that as a throwaway line. I'm just doing that as a joke. But like that's the thing I've learned where find your circle, find your tribe, and just nurture the hell out of it. And especially during like the pandemic and seeing, different dads struggle with mental health and all this other stuff. Like we need to find, this is what I love what you guys are doing, man. Like Greg and Doug, like you guys are here for each other, right? The different things you guys have experienced, the different things that whether it's good, high, low, bad, whatever, it's like this is the thing where it's like you need to be there for each other. You need to have a few like people other than your family to like stick out and be there for. And you guys are that, and maybe you don't talk about that a lot, but like I've just learned where it's like you got to be there for a certain handful of people. So like I love it. So this is fun, and I'll try and check you guys stream out when I can, but sometimes on Friday I'm doing stuff with the family and all that other stuff. But like I've learned so much from other dads, learned stuff from you guys. You guys talk to me about different things, and you like Doug, you asked me for advice about where to get Giannis's shoe, Giannis Antetokounmpo's shoe for one of your sons and all that stuff. It's like we're there to help each other so that we can make sure that we're there for our family. So I don't know, it's a long-winded answer, sorry, it's probably the beer talking, but like I've learned a lot. I'm very fortunate to have you guys and a great other, like everybody in this like chat right now that is watching it and other people. It's great, man. So we just need to be there for each other and kind of forget the stereotypes, because if you play into the stereotypes, things will keep on repeating and repeating. And I think now in 2023, like we should be beyond the stereotype shit.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Art, in this request, and Greg too. Um, so I'm a bit older, and I grew up with like a lot of rugged individualism, a lot of figure it the fuck out, like you can do this. And in a way, some of that's very encouraging because it encourages you to figure shit out on your own. Except the problem is I apply that sometimes to my kids in situations that shouldn't be. Like sometimes I get very frustrated. Like when my kids ask for help for something that's really simple. To me, it's simple. To me. But to them, it's not simple. And there are times when I find myself really struggling to fucking hear them out and not get frustrated because they don't want to frustrate me. They just need help. I just there are times where do either of you run into that where I'm like running headlong into this fucking figure it out. Like there are times where I just like they'll ask questions of like you have a computer in your hand. But the thing is they're asking you for help because they trust you and they think you know how to help. And there are times when I struggle mightily with that. I don't know. Do you guys experience or struggle with that? Because I fucking do. Because I grew up, my parents were like, "Go outside and figure it out." And that was my parents were not bad. Let me just say that they weren't terrible people. They just parented like everybody else did, and everybody else in my generation was like, "Send your kids outside in the morning and tell them to come home for lunch and come home for dinner and leave you the fuck alone." And that was basically my childhood. How do you that programming? That's really hard shit to unlearn. Do you guys deal with that? And if you do, how do you unlearn that shit? Art, you're getting pointed at.
All right. No, that so my daughters are at the age where I'm like, all right. But there was my oldest, right? She was in a trip with her class. She's in high school. She was in Orlando, and there was an issue she called me up for, and I wasn't home because she needed something because she was kind of freaking out. And I'm like, I'm not home. And she quickly hangs up and then calls my wife. And I'm like, what? Like, what's going on? I try to do everything and anything I possibly could. But my wife is like, she needs to learn how to handle things herself. She's on her own right now, but she's with a chaperone. She's with her school. Let her figure it out. You know how hard that was for me? Like, I feel you, man. Like, I'm
the opposite. My wife is like you. I am like your wife. I'm like,
but like, it's good to like. It's so I think it's good to have that like yin and yang, right? Where it's like one spouse is this way, one spouse is this way. So you can balance each other out. It's like the force, right? So like the idea. Like I didn't help her out. Like she took care of it. We were fine. And there you go. There's certain things where you're like, okay, they need to figure it out. Like from baby to toddler, it's like you're trying to do everything for them. And then as they get a little bit older, like, all right, let's let them learn how to play with other people and stuff. I think the hardest thing is letting go. The hardest thing is letting go. And if they need help, I think we're at the point, like if you're in tune as a parent, you're like, all right, how long will they struggle for this? And should they struggle a little bit so they can learn from it? Because you're not going to be around, right? There's going to be a time where they're going to be on their own and you're miles away, or if you passed away or whatever the case may be. And they're like, I can't turn to them because they're not able to help me. So as much as it pains me to sometimes like, try and figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, I'll help you. But you don't want to say that because they'll be like, I tried A, B, and C. Now I need help. Like, help me out. Right. So it is the hardest thing to do, but it's like, as they get older, you're like, you kind of need to figure this out. Like you gotta, and then sometimes like one of my kids' teachers, they said like when they were in 6th grade, like, does everybody know what FAIL stands for? And their kids were like, I don't know. And it says FAIL means first attempt in learning. And I love that, right? Like that's kind of some powerful stuff. So it's like, it's okay to fail. Like the idea, like I've learned more. I even told my kids this, like I've learned more on things I was an A and B student in high school, college, whatever. But like I've learned more, and things I've retained are the things I failed at in the class more than the stuff I aced. Right. And so like I passed that on to them. I'm like, just, okay, you might have a bad grade, like a bad test, but you'll move on and you'll learn from that. I'm just asking you to learn from your mistakes, right? So, Doug, it is tough. I don't think there is a right answer, but I think each scenario is different, and you just got to kind of go with your hunch.
Yeah. Greg, you please chime in because I'm curious to hear how it is because you homeschool your kids, which is different than us.
Yeah, so it's always about questions for me, and I've gotten really patient at this, Doug, believe it or not. So I think I think a lot of the impatience that comes sometimes is that as a parent, you don't feel you have the time for this. So as a homeschooler, I don't have that excuse. In fact, I have more than enough time to get my fucking point across. So, with that being said, you can take a different approach, which is I'm the question asker. I think, Doug, you might have seen this in person. I'm not sure because you were hanging around my family for a little bit that one weekend.
Yep.
And another weekend coming up, you will be. But I'm always asking questions. So, like, if I've deciphered in my head that they don't need my help, then they're just gonna get questions, and it's gonna be like, okay, so if in this area you need some help, what do you think your next steps should be? And then once they say those next steps, then I'll be like, well, I agree with those next steps. And that's a good thing. I'm not sure I'm not sure you're really tackling this the whole way through. And sometimes I even say, I think you want me to just give you the answer. And I don't know if I want to do that or not. So I have this like back and forth. And what happens, Doug, is like they become impatient because they just want me to give them the fucking answer. And I'm sitting here telling them, because if you have the patience as a parent, you really are in control because you don't care. I think the problem is when we get to those points where we're like, look, y'all motherfuckers just need to know, can we just get through this so we can get to the next problem? And I'm just over here like, I got a couple hours. Right. And my kids get way impatient with that. So then it almost makes them, it does make them like think through the process quicker. Be like, oh, okay, I'm done fucking with him. Like, he's not fucking helping me. Mom's not home because mom is like Jill and like Art, where mom will like, she'll test him a little bit. And then at some point she'll just be like, fuck it. Just order what you want, or just fuck it. Like, she'll just give him look, this is what you need to do. And like, I'm sitting over here like, okay, that's cool if you want to do that, but I'm not gonna, no. Because these kids would have me doing handstands all day long, Doug, if I gave it to everything that they wanted me to give it to. You know what I'm saying? So like, hey, I have to be like I have to be the strong guy, and I have to let the lady kind of, when she comes home, be cool about it. You know what I mean? I think it's that kind of thing too, Doug. Like, but especially when they get older though, and they become adults. Now, Doug, you have that more than me. So I can see where there's some impatience when they're adults. It's like, look, motherfucker, you're an adult. Like, I'm sorry. Bye. You don't even live here. What the fuck's going on? Like this. Now I wouldn't say any of that shit, but I'm telling you right now, and my kids don't ever watch the shit. Right, it's in your head, exactly. So like, I have to delineate from what's in my head and what actually comes out of my mouth a lot, believe you. And I think, Doug, it's not going to help. Like, people are like, well, when they're adults, it becomes easier. No, it's probably going to be harder for me because some of the shit I'm just going to be like, look, motherfucker, you're an adult. Just go. Bye. I don't need to help you anymore. But that's not a great way to parent, and sometimes that's not what they need. Sometimes they do need that kick in the ass, but sometimes they need that, like, I'm just here for you. We're back to the wives. How about this, y'all? Where sometimes the wives were like, fuck it. We just want to come in and like save everything. Doug, I know you're like this. And Art, I get a sense that you are too. And sometimes the lady just needs us to listen. Like, they don't need Superman. They don't need solutions. They just need to vent. They're tired at the motherfucker at work, or they're tired at the girls coming at them or something. And they just need you to shut up and listen. And we're sometimes always trying to like fix this shit. Right, Doug? Right.
That's me.
Right. And Jill, from what I know, Jill is a venter. So she just needs to vent sometimes. And she doesn't need solutions because Jill's a smart ass motherfucker. So Jill probably has her solutions. She just wants to bitch a little bit. And that's fine. We all need that. So that's sometimes too, Doug, what I remember is that like sometimes my kids just need me to be there. They act like they need solutions, but they just need you to be there. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be dismissive and say, motherfucker, you're an adult. Let's go. Even if that's what you're thinking, and even if that's what they fucking need. Sometimes you just have to be, I'm here for you. It's cool. What's going on? I'm here. I'm here to listen. It's cool. Yep. And then you go in the corner and you go in another room, crack open a beer, and shake your head. And
or you go out in the yard and mumble to yourself like me.
Art, you had a lot of body language going on. What any of that you relate to, or what were you feeling in there?
I think it's spot on, but also too, I feel like there are certain times where you guys are kind of like my wife, and I'm more like your wives, just about like the way we interact with our kids. But I think there's other things where you guys will cave in, and I won't cave in, and your wives won't cave in. So it's always like this balancing act, and I think that's where it's a good dynamic to have, where it's like you not like you keep your kids guessing, but it's just like I might be stronghold on this idea, or I might be a softie on this. And that's the thing where I'm like, all right, which way am I going? Which way am I going to be? Am I going to be like the cool parent, or am I going to be like the good cop or the bad cop parent? Right. And I feel like sometimes you guys struggle with that as well as I do, but those the body language is it's like, yeah, there's always going to be that dynamic. Yeah. So like, yeah, I just, it's tough because there's certain things you guys are saying. I'm like, I wouldn't do that. And then there's other things like, yeah, I'd definitely do that. So I don't know. Another thing too, is I've learned from interviews is like every family is different. Don't keep up with the Joneses, keep up with yourself, because if you do that, then you're like messing up your family because you're just trying to focus in on what other people are doing. Don't live in the Instagram thing, right?
Yeah. And the Instagram thing is that's like everybody's showing their best side. And well, why is everything so easy for them? Like, it is not. It is not easy for them. It's not. They're showing you their nice face. They're showing you the nice, easy shit. And like, there are times with like, Greg, I applaud you for having more patience than me. I just don't have it sometimes. There are times where I'm just like, hey, listen, you're not a 4-year-old. You can figure this out. Like, you can do that stuff. But then there's times where like what I forget sometimes is there's 50 factors going into them right now not being able to process that bit of information. Doesn't mean they're failing. It means the amount of shit going on is just too much. And I just have to be reminded of that. And Jill's very good about like, hey, have a little empathy here. And there's times where I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to step away because right now I'm so frustrated that I'm not going to be helpful. I'm going to make things worse. And my wife understands that. And she understands that, like, I'm going to go do stuff. I'm good at doing stuff. When I'm frustrated or things like that, I do things. I clean, I go out and fucking do stuff out in the yard. Like, activity and physical labor is how I express frustration. So my wife actually takes advantage of it and is just like, okay, well, you go do stuff. And I'm like, great. And I go do stuff. She's like, I didn't have to do that myself. No, she doesn't really say that, but you know what I mean? I think it is something where the whole thing of like understanding, like sometimes with my wife, I will do something that I've learned from Ariana Bradford, actually, Greg, our former guest, a couple times. She's fucking awesome. Where her husband, she has ADHD, and sometimes when she talks, he will say things like, do you need advice or do you just need me to listen? And he defines the conversation that way, and she will say, I need you to listen. And then he goes, that's my mode. And then he just goes into that mode and he hears her out and she gets to vent. She gets to vent without you interrupting. Like, and I have adopted that sometimes, but I'm starting to get the handle on when Jill just needs me to listen and when she wants me to actually try to give her advice or fix things. And I'm a fixer by nature. So that was a hard road for me to figure, but Ariana Bradford helped me with that.
Yeah. And again, you can easily apply that to your kids, but they won't exactly tell you that. So you have to figure that out in your head. Actually, they will not tell you whether they just want you to be there, they want your advice. They just generally want you to fix things, and that's it. Your father, your dad used to fix things. That's it. The fixing thing again can just be shut up and listening. This is what I found. It doesn't always have to be something. You don't always have to throw money at it, like UFO Maine Blueberry. This UFO shit, I've never heard of UFO. This shit's intriguing.
UFO is great. It's they're unfiltered. That's their whole thing.
Okay.
This is for
Unfiltered.
This is the
Unfiltered
one
with
that like.
Oh, sorry, Steph.
Go ahead.
No. You go.
No, like this is the one that my wife and I definitely dig. When we were visiting New Hampshire, we got some of these. Like this is great. Like it's like, you know, some people aren't like fruit tasting beers, but like this is a great drink to it. It's really good. Like definitely.
How's the blueberry flavor in that? Because blueberry can be pretty distinctive, overwhelming, or right on. Like, how you feel?
It's right on. I've had a couple other ones that were like too fruity, and then ones were not enough taste. But this one to me is spot on. Like again, I'm not a lot into like sours and stuff, but like this is to me like I definitely dig, and I encourage people to check it out.
Nice.
Is it like a summer shandy but with blueberry?
Yeah, but like I think but like to me, I think a shandy is like this is less to me less powerful than a shandy, like less I guess like less powerful than a shandy. It's like just the right amount.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Doug, watching?
Yeah, let's do the watching.
So, real quick, it's not watching, what I'm listening to is the Art of Fatherhood, y'all. There are Art said he's talked to 700 fathers. I don't think there's
Total, like
700
from like
podcasts.
this and other sites as well.
Yeah,
but
that's what I
like,
mean. I don't think there's 700 on there, but there's definitely a couple hundred that y'all can binge. And I'm pretty sure they are on, you can find them on pretty much
Anywhere
any
you listen to
podcast network that you can listen to your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, all of them. It's fantastic. If you're a father, it's great. If not, you know some of these people that Art has interviewed. So they're great stories outside of the fatherhood things.
Yep.
There's motivational stories. There's inspirational stories. Hell, there's just stories just to pass the time. Everybody loves good stories. So do not, double negative here. And I don't give a fuck. Do not listen to the Art of Fatherhood because you're not a father. That's not a reason for me not to do it or for y'all not to do it. So Art of Fatherhood is to the bottom. Y'all good? Doug, you watching your heat over here?
Yeah, so I
You're up
am, but
four.
but I'm also watching this. This is fucking excellent. The Diplomat.
Mission Dead or Alive? Or no, The Diplomat.
No, The Diplomat, which is Kerry Russell and Rufus Sewell. Rufus Sewell is like a guy that everybody knows who sees a movie, and he's a very distinctive face. He's not in this picture, but the guy that I remember him. Do you remember the movie A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger?
Yes.
Yep.
Great movie. The guy who's like his enemy, where he's like entering into quote negotiation to marry the woman that Heath Ledger loves. That's Rufus Sewell. He has been in a million things. He plays this. He's married to Kerry Russell. Kerry Russell is this diplomat who's forced into a position she didn't want, and he's her husband, and he's just this slimy diplomatic guy who's really good at his job, who everybody fucking hates. It is like a really funny West Wing, not nearly as biting political commentary as West Wing was, but close. They touch on the Trump presidency. Michael McKean is the president, and they make him like Joe Biden. It's so good. It's just so good. I don't know. Normally I'm in like the horror and sci-fi and things like that. Those are the shows I normally watch. This is fucking just superb. Really good. Kerry Russell is the lead actress and one of the executive producers. So like she's doing it all. She's excellent in this. The lady here, God, her name's escaping me. But she's the Secretary of State, and she's perfect in this. It's just really, really, really well done. I highly, highly, highly recommend this one.
Nice.
Apparently, Daniel's coworkers have been raving about that show, and they would be right to because it is fucking good.
Yeah, my wife's been checking out the show. She's been digging it. Well, I've been like watching NHL and NBA playoffs. She's been watching this show.
Hey, that's valid to watch. So yes.
I think you're on mute, my friend.
Greg, we can't hear you.
Stand by Me on Sunday. Other than that,
Yeah.
I haven't been watching much, Doug. Yeah. So yeah, JHG says he's going through
Silo. I just watched the most recent episode. God damn, that's a good fucking sci-fi show. Please watch that if you can. It's fucking great. It is.
Where are we at? Which
that's on Apple. That's on Apple. Apple Plus.
Apple.
And
Apple's
also,
coming up.
Yeah,
Apple's coming up.
And they have Severance season 2 coming out soon. And
coming up on the streaming.
And if you haven't seen Severance, the first season, please watch that. That is the best show I saw last year. That was awesome.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. So, Art, we're going to wrap up here soon because we got big weekends. I'm headed to Lager and Friends in Milwaukee. I'm back to Milwaukee. Doing a whole bunch of beer things in Milwaukee because Milwaukee is shit for beer, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. It's a really great beer city. Old beer history for sure, but now it's going through a resurgence. So there is a 4-hour lager beer festival. So I'm enjoying that. My family's dropping me off and scooping my buzzed ass back up and driving me back home. So you gotta love that.
That's nice.
Hit some breakfast.
Designated driver.
Yeah, hit some breakfast. And
is she taking the keys to your truck?
That sounds like some country song.
Montel Jordan, god damn it. Jesus Christ.
It could be a country song though, too.
It could
really
be. You're right. That
Yes.
could definitely be a country song.
Right.
Sorry. I didn't mean to be dismissive. I was
No. It could very right.
Song.
Yep,
also, Miami won. Fuck you, Boston Celtics. Aaron Gouveia, suck it. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Gouveia. God damn.
Okay. I think we can clip that out and send it to him too.
We should.
Aaron Gouveia, suck it. He said that shit, not me.
Yeah.
Right. You were thinking that as well? Oh, Montel Jordan. Okay. Not the Aaron Gouveia suck it thing. Because I don't think you know Aaron Gouveia, Daniel. But if you did, you would probably want to tell Aaron Gouveia to suck it. So it's fine. I mean, we all agree there. We all agree. You brought him up, man. I remember the first time seeing him at a Dad 2.0, and I walk in the room, and he's just in the middle of the room, just taking on all comers. He was literally in the middle of the room. What? Belichick, blah, 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 blah. Brady, blah, 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 blah. Gronk, blah, blah, blah. And he just had people all around him just attacking him. And he was just like smooth cat, taking y'all all on. This is really great. So anyway, Doug, I think it's time that we start to wrap this wonderful stream up with our friend Art.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I was going to say before we leave, I would like to hear Art rank his beers. But yeah, sorry.
Of course we will. Of course. But I was going to say you can see Art and I on Lags, Libations, and Lost Saves, which is every second Wednesday of the month. So we won't talk gaming tonight. But we talk a whole bunch of gaming there. And we've had some fun episodes, especially the Rampage episode, which was an atrocity of life. And luckily I was there. Luckily I was there to save Mario once because I don't know what the fuck y'all were on. And I made some crucial tiebreakers. If y'all ever want to go back and see something funny, it's evergreen. That shit is hilarious. Don't ask me about Rampage. You can get your full explanation over there. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah. So anyway, I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom either yet, Art. The boys are going at it. I've been backed up on some schoolwork that I've been doing. So I have not played it, but I've heard nothing but good things. So I'm excited. And then I watched the oldest play Survivor. Every once in a while, like I watch him and help him as he goes through it, if that makes sense. Because some of these games are just crazy. You don't know what the hell, where to go, how to do it. So anyway, Art, Doug wants you so much so. Doug wants you to tell us what beers you liked, and we'll go through this process.
Cool. The 4 beers I drank, this was number 4. I dug it, but it wasn't like my favorite. This one, Trophy Wife is my 3rd favorite. Definitely appreciated that one. UFO White was really good. I've been drinking it for years. And then Blueberry top. So Blueberry number 1, UFO White 2, Trophy Wife 3, and then Trophy Husband 4.
Oh, you're the trophy husband and you're number 4. What is up with that?
Hey, I'd rather put everybody else before me. So there we go.
Dude, same. Yeah.
Cheers.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Rave reviews coming in.
Yeah, that's Victor, man.
I don't care who it is. It's a great review.
Yeah.
I care. I like Victor. It's not about Victor though. I'm just saying it's a good review. I don't care where it's from.
I think that was a stealthy fuck Victor fucking thing.
I mean, even if it's that Steph Flurry dog, I'm cool with that dog. Even though the dog's biased, should never make another prediction again. He was wrong. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. He was on TikTok. Right. The Steph Flurry dog was horrible. He's a bad canine. It should be banished to Newsmax or something. It's really bad. That dog was bad. See? I'll remember that. Y'all sensitive Victor around here.
We love Victor, though.
Victor, get the... Victor's another one that shows up on Lag Libations and Lost Saves here and there. So the Mad Hatter guy does not show up on Lag Libations and Lost Saves. He
also,
should,
can
though.
we talk about the fact that his hair is red and he has black eyebrows? Like, did they Sharpie that shit? What the fuck is going on with his eyebrow? Oh.
The Mad Hatter who can't keep a hat on. He's a mess. The hat's not a mess, though. That's a classic hat. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That is dope.
I just love
Seriously,
that it was like
if you're looking for some fun times, just Google Hat Factory Mad Hatter 1966 Batman and just watch all the YouTubes. You'll thank me later. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. Or maybe you'll get a sweet shirt like me after you watch it.
All right. Can I show you something real quick before we go?
No.
Yeah.
Yes. You're going to need to see this. Look at Tatum can't stop losing the ball when it matters. Poor Aaron Gavea. I say that in jest. Sorry.
You know what I love to say.
Do you?
I don't say it in jest. Fuck the Celtics.
With the tip of the hat. Yes. You know what I love to say? Oh, boo-boo. Oh, boo-boo. I have no love or remorse. I love Aaron Gavea as a human. He's a great human. He's a great dad. Other than that, I can't get with the.
Before we go, I have one issue with. He posted something where he didn't understand the ravenous fandom of Taylor Swift fans. I'm like, you are the biggest fucking Boston sports fan ever, and you don't understand that. And somebody pointed out to him, and he goes, "I take offense to that." And I was like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Yeah,
he is.
Well, sometimes you can't see the forest through the trees.
So is the angle that he thinks that she's untalented? Is that it?
No, he just doesn't understand why people are crazy loving Taylor Swift and her stuff. Like, Taylor Swift's fucking awesome. Her new boyfriend. Hey, Art, you're probably hearing this from your kids too. Taylor Swift's boyfriend's super problematic. He's made a lot of anti-Semitic comments and stuff like that. So
the new guy? The new guy?
Yeah, so not cool. But yeah, her songs are good. So yeah.
She'll have material to write for days once they break up, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
She could do better too. I saw them. Just saying.
Yeah, but she was dating Loki. For what?
So this is the Aaron Govey is the guy who rails against MAGA people, and he wants to know why people can be crazy fandom about something.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and he's
What?
a giant fucking super
What?
Patriots
What?
over, super Celtics
Yeah.
over. Like,
Oh, Aaron
dude,
is just looking for.
It's all
He's looking
fandom.
for,
It's all fandom.
and he's just looking for a fight that day, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's
So
fair. That's fair.
right, that's right. Aaron can be a bit of a troll when he wants to, and he may not admit that, but he can be.
He won't, but he is.
Right, right, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we love him regardless.
You know what else is fine, Doug? This weird ass donut Don. The imperial stout that doesn't look like one. Yeah, that's what.
And
That's
the
what
Mad Hatter is
Simon.
pretty great too.
That's what Simon looks like brewing this thing, because I don't know what the hell this is. It was drinkable and I drank it, but like the whole thing threw me off, and I think that's probably part of the whole game of it. Donut Don, y'all, is a great beer though. And I know Simon and the boys are just having some fun with this one, and it was fun. I just wasn't expecting it. But this one was fantastic. Hotel Motel. Say it, Doug.
Motel
Holiday Inn. Yeah, we're gonna get caught for that one too. Who is that? I forget.
We're all going to get copyrighted for the Batman thing, so who gives a shit? Let's just go all in.
Right,
Does macaroni
Hotel
taste
Motel.
like wood? Does macaroni taste like wood?
Which is one of the better rap lines I think we've ever heard. If we can agree on that, that is
Yes.
great.
But I had 2 venture brews, and I'll be visiting there hopefully in like 12 hours. Actually, hopefully get there
Nice.
and grab some coffee. They have some of the best coffee in Milwaukee. They have some of the best beers. So I'll be stocking up there before I go to Lager and Friends. So those are my 2 Holiday Inn. Yes, Daniel. Yep. And yeah, so Doug, you are
Yes. So I'm gonna.
certainly not least, but you're last.
Well, that's okay. I can be least.
You might be least in this group too.
I
You
might be. I might be.
You might be. It's fine.
So here's the thing: all my beers were fucking excellent. I don't have a loser in this group at all. But the Abbey Ale was probably the least, but
Oof.
not saying much. This was really fucking good.
If Una needs the least, you had a good night.
I'm telling you, I had a great night for beer.
Was that your number one beer?
That was my 3.
That was number 3
out of the 3 beers I had. The
Yeah.
Doppelbock was number 2. It was a Doppelbock with molasses. It was, and I didn't really get to talk about it. It's classic Doppelbock, but it's got the sweetness of the molasses and fucking really good. But this goddamn English mild, that was superb. So, like I said, I had a great beer night. Like all of my beers were fucking excellent. It is really hard to rank them that way. I'm really hoping I can find more from this brewery. Although I'm not a sour person. You said this is more of a sour house, Greg. That's not my jam, but like I want to find more from this place. So.
Yeah, they're like your typical sour house where they do sours and like big stouts and like so the triple's right down their line, if that makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
the sour houses they do the big stouts and big IPAs and stuff like that.
Yep,
So
yep.
Doug, I don't know. I will remember if you remind me, I could bring you some at Barrel Flow.
Awesome. And we got to
Finish
get
your
Art to
beer.
we got to get Art to Barrel and Flow at some
We
point.
do.
Dude, you would have an awesome time at that.
When the girls get a little bit older, we're gonna start peer pressuring Art more about doing shit. So the girls are at a sweet spot where it's really hard to like get out, and I understand that. I feel that. But once they get to like late teenage years, is when Art, we're gonna put more peer pressure on you to come out. Because we miss you at Dad 2. And we know you got a Dad 2 weekend. You don't take that Dad 2 weekend that you used to take, motherfucker. So we know you got a weekend that you can fit for somewhere.
You know
So
what?
we gotta work something in.
Offline, I want to pick your brains on something.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we can
Is this
wrap up
after
and-
I hit end broadcast or before?
After.
Okay. Well, bye y'all. No,
Bye, motherfuckers. Ta-ta.
Right. No, not so quick, Doug. I have one thing, and we'll take Art out. Art will go out with us this time because
Nice.
Art is a professional, and hell, he could do this. We could wrap around us, Doug, and do this. But next week, Doug, I want you to talk about this.
Oh, so we are going to be lucky to have Joel Krause on next week. So Joel Krause is an extraordinarily interesting person. Her and her ex-husband initially traveled with 3 kids in a van around the country. That was her mom blogger start. She was a OG mom blogger. It's a big advocate for mental health. Had some interesting things that we can talk about with her mental health. And she's very open about it. It's not something that is swept under the rug or anything. She's just an extraordinarily fascinating person who's lived a pretty full life, has 4 kids. And they're ranging all over in ages. So it's not like she has one that's like I think a junior in high school and one that's like 6. So it's going to be a really fascinating chat with her. So I think we're really lucky to be able to have her on the show next week.
Well, cool. We are lucky to have Art. Art,
Yes.
you get the final words before I hit this.
Final words. Give us a Jerry Springer.
Speak, Art, and we'll put your face over to Mad Hatter guy, and you can take us out.
Love yourselves and each other. No,
Yeah, thank you, Jerry
thanks
Springer.
again. Yeah, thanks again for having me on. Actually, rest in power, right, Jerry?
Yeah,
Springer.
right.
Yes,
also, side note: Jim Brown passed away tonight too.
Yep, Jim Brown. Yep. Rest in power, Jim Brown. No, thanks again for having me on the show. Really love chatting with you guys. You guys just kick ass in all areas. But what I will say is thanks again for letting me plug the Art of Fatherhood. This week, I had Andrew McCarthy on. He walked 500 miles with his son in Spain. And they had a great journey, and he wrote a book about it. And then BD Wong from Jurassic Park, all that other stuff. He was another guest. Next Monday, though, I'm so excited for this one. Vincent D'Onofrio. You should check out that one. We talk about his children's book, Pigs Can't Look Up, and it talks about how people can be empathetic and be caring and all that good stuff. And then we talk about fatherhood because he's got kids as well, obviously. And then I'm a big Marvel geek, so we talk about Daredevil and his role as Kingpin, and we talk about a couple other things. But I told him a little spoiler in the podcast. I said, like, your phrase is when you play Kingpin when I was a boy is up there with Heath Ledger's Joker when it's like, how I got these scars. Those segues into your monologues or everything are just priceless. And he loves that role. He freaking loves that role. I posted a thing about how Harrison Ford is so giddy about playing Indiana Jones. There are certain roles that are made for people. And let me tell you, Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio was made to play him. So I was so excited to get him and talk to him about that. And obviously his children's book and fatherhood. But check out that next Monday because I really enjoyed that episode with him.
Also, there's a BD Wong Vincent D'Onofrio connection in the
Jurassic Park.
and Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, how about that? D'Onofrio? I don't understand that. Maybe I'm just not a nerd enough.
But again, thanks again for chatting. I love that. But thanks again for having me, guys. I love you guys. I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and it's always freaking fun to chat with you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all step into the Art of Fatherhood. Y'all can see Art and I on Live Libation and Lost Saves. Art, we will have you back as soon as you are wanting to. Maybe Art, maybe you could join us for the Oktoberfest show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Your Oktoberfest hat. I can get you to do some cosplaying. Oh, and
I'm going to try to sport some lederhosen for that.
Maybe we'll
do
something. Yes, you can wear that hat. And also Art ran the 40 for 40, so maybe we'll see him back for that, Doug. With his mad hat.
All right. Apparently JG spelled D'Onofrio's name wrong. Whoops. All right.
See y'all next week. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, folks.
See you.